Moving to Idaho can be really confusing. So in this video, I am gonna cover the major topics that most people have questions around to hopefully make your move here a little less confusing. Stick around. What's up guys, my name is Trent and I'm a realtor here in Idaho. On this channel, we talk about everything Idaho, where to eat, live, sleep, work, play, and buy real estate. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And guys, I'm serious when I say this. Every single day, I get calls, texts, emails from people just like you that are interested in what it's like to live here, how to get moved here. Any question that I have not covered in my videos, feel free to reach out to me. Day, nights, weekends, there's the phone number. I am always here to help you guys decide if Idaho is the right place to live. The last thing I want is someone to move here and realize, oh, no, this was a big mistake. Let's go back to where we're from. I wanna make sure that people know exactly what it's like living here, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we get people who want to live in a place like this and not wanna move here and change it. So if that's you, feel free to reach out. All right, guys, so why is moving to Idaho so stinking confusing? Well, if you've never been to Idaho, the first thing that you're gonna notice when you drive in is that there are some people in the slow lane driving 55 miles an hour, and then there's people on the other lane driving 80 miles an hour, and there's people weaving in and out. Why is that? Why aren't people driving the same speeds? Well, there's some really good reasons for that. One, the locals who've lived here for a really long time, a lot of Idaho used to be just rural, farm town, laid back, and some people just don't want that to change, so they're not gonna change. They're gonna be driving on the freeway, on the roads, as slow as they want, and they don't care how much you're honking or how fast you're driving, they're not gonna change it. And then there's the other people who have transplanted here, or maybe some kids who just got a new car. I know with me, I had a WRX when I was a teenager, and let me tell you, I had some fun with that thing. And so you have that wild mix of drivers that can sometimes cause problems. We do have a pretty low driving record here, according to national statistics. So just be aware, when you're in Idaho, it is not gonna be like anywhere else. The drivers here are a little bit nuts, and you're just gonna have to learn to deal with it. Some days I'm glad, yep, let's just go slow, take it easy. Other days I'm like, get out of my way, I got places to go. So maybe I'm part of the problem, but just be aware when you move to Idaho, that's part of it. Don't get confused, just recognize it's gonna be a little bit different. Next is websites versus reality. So if you are like most people, you probably have gone on Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, and you've been looking up real estate, and you probably feel like, I've got a good idea of how much stuff costs and what's available. You drive into town, you start going to some of those listings, and you realize there's not even a sign in the yard. Like, this house sold last year, or the prices are way off. There's a reason for that. Those secondary sites, and that's what we call anybody who isn't directly on the MLS. It's a secondary site. They're taking information off of the MLS and they're trying to keep it updated, but a lot of these secondary sites, they don't care about accuracy. They want eyeballs, they want to market to you, you want to get your information so that they can connect you to a realtor and get paid on it. So the only way to have really accurate information is to reach out to a realtor and get connected to the MLS. That is the most up-to-date, accurate information that you can possibly get, because that's where all of the agents upload their information, update their information. So if there's a change, it gets addressed right away on the MLS, and it's up to date by like 5 minutes. So if there's a price reduction or an increase or whatever it is, you are gonna know right away. So just be aware, you might get a little confused if your only resource is those secondary websites. You really need to be connected to the primary source, which is the MLS. Next point of confusion, I get asked this question a ton: permits, building permits, remodeling permits, permits in general. Number one question I get asked: how serious are permits? Do I need to worry about permits? Where are they a little bit more lax on permits? Well, Bonners and Boundary County, that's up north, that's up by Canada in North Idaho. They are gonna be the most lax because that's a newly developing area, but you still have to get your permits. They'll just be able to issue them quite a bit faster and a lot easier. Second hardest space is going to probably be Coeur d'Alene. They have tightened up a little bit. Right now, I'm hearing that it's about 2 to 3 months to get your permit. And it isn't like it is in places like California, Portland, Seattle. They're not trying to take all of your money and hold you hostage. I've heard some horror stories about that. They do charge. It's not cheap, but it's not ridiculous. But you definitely have to get your permits. And then Post Falls, I've been hearing, has been the hardest to get permits issued because they are back. There's a lot of growth and they want to make sure that they're doing it right. I know a lot of people think that permits are ridiculous. It's just taxation, it's theft, it's bad. But I've seen the effects of not having permits. People do shoddy work, they skimp on safety things, they don't do it right. And then what happens is when they go to sell the house or the next buyer goes to make a change and then they do it right and they get a permit, all of a sudden they're being dinged and hit and possibly having to tear down additions because it wasn't done right, it wasn't permitted, and it's not safe. So I know it's a rule and rules sometimes suck, but permits are a good thing. And just know, just because you're in Idaho doesn't mean that you get to skimp out on permits. You still need to get them. Next major point of confusion, and I get a ton of calls on this as well, is the rental market. Now, in Idaho, for whatever reason, landlords do not work with real estate agents. There's no rental agents here in Idaho. They're either doing it themselves, listing it themselves, or it's a property management company. Now, the best sources, and this is where I send everybody to go and check out rentals, is still using Craigslist. People are a little bit behind on technology here in Idaho, so Craigslist is a resource. Now, what I will say about that, to not be a victim of fraud, do not talk to anyone where one, the price seems too good to be too good to be true, two, where you are not talking to the person who actually owns the property or it's not a reputable property management company. The biggest scam that's ran is somebody who goes, oh yeah, I'm the nephew of Susan Smith. And you look it up and you go, oh yeah, Susan Smith owns this. And they go, yeah, I'm the nephew. She doesn't live here. I'm managing it for her. And they go ahead and send me some money and we'll hold your position because it's such a good deal and it's such a nice spot. And everything seems legitimate until you get up here and you can't get keys and it's not the right person and you found out that you got scammed. So don't do that. But a lot of the ones on Craigslist, they are legitimate. You just have to watch out for that. So again, make sure you're talking to the actual owner or it's a reputable property management company. Now, the other sources that I send people to, Facebook Marketplace is very, very popular. You just go into Facebook Marketplace, you type in the zip code, Post Falls 83854, Coeur d'Alene 83814. You can Google these as well. And then you'll see some of the listings on there. The next ones, and I know I just kind of bashed on Zillow and Realtor.com, but their rental services are legitimate because people have to pay to list them on there and they are kept up to date for the rentals. So that's a really great spot to go and find the rentals and see what's available. Now, as far as pricing, is it a lot cheaper to rent versus buying here in Idaho right now? No, typically not. You are gonna be spending about the same, if not a little bit more. With Idaho really blowing up the last couple of years, a lot of people have moved here seeking refuge from some of the things that some people might call tyranny in other places. And so the rental market has really skyrocketed. It's gotten pretty crazy. So another warning I would give people is don't pack up your stuff, move here and go, I'll just find a rental. Definitely have a rental reserved, payment made, ready to go, because the rental market is a little bit crazy. And the requirements for getting a rental, it's almost as strict as trying to buy. They're gonna wanna see that you have great credit. They're gonna wanna see that you have an excellent rental history, that you have good income, solid employment, and they're gonna want their deposits. Sometimes it's even harder to get into a rental than to just buy a house. But if you have questions, I get a lot of people who go, well, I don't even think I qualify, never bought a house before. Those are my favorite people to work with because it's so exciting, everything's new. I get them connected to my lender, and he goes through, explains everything in detail, gets you pre-qualified. It's a super quick, simple process. And honestly, so many people I talk to who didn't think they could qualify absolutely do. So if you are in between going, well, maybe I should rent, maybe I should buy, definitely give me a call. Don't be shy. I can get you connected to my lender and he will get you all set up. So the next big point of confusion, and even for me, I get confused about this sometimes. Why are areas in Idaho so very different? So the biggest difference is gonna be like the Boise area to North Idaho. Totally different. Down in the Boise area, that's gonna be high mountain desert. You're like an hour away from the mountains. You don't have the big pine trees. They call it Treasure Valley. It's a giant valley. Basements are super uncommon because you have a really high water table. It's just a totally different area. It's almost like a totally different state. And then in North Idaho, it's all mountains and lakes and wilderness. Basements are very common, which is cool. I like basements. But yeah, it's very different. And then to dive in a little bit further, even in North Idaho, every town is very different. And there's a reason for that. So the biggest reason is what these towns were based on when they were founded, the industries that were happening. So in Coeur d'Alene, logging, fur trade, mining, very big in Coeur d'Alene. It was kind of a central hub after Fort Sherman was established here. And so you have a lot more growth. This is a lot more developed than some of the surrounding towns. There used to be a ton of casinos and brothels and saloons. I heard Coeur d'Alene was quite a wild place in the late 1800s. But you go into Post Falls and you go, why is this, like it's very different. Post Falls doesn't even have a movie theater. They don't have as many restaurants. They don't have the amenities. Everything's spread out. And that's because Post Falls was basically not as desirable of an area. You don't have the big lake. You have a single river that runs through. That area is really nice. But everything away from that, it's just sort of spread out. You have developments in one area. You have, right next to those developments, you have car lots. I mean, it's getting there, but you can tell it's definitely not grown quickly like Coeur d'Alene. But yeah, every area in North Idaho is gonna be individual. So Spirit Lake, very different than Post Falls. Coeur d'Alene, very different than Athol. All of these areas are very unique, and you really need to do your research and figure out what's important, or talk to us and tell us what's your lifestyle, what's important to you. Do you plan to travel a lot? Do you still need to work? Because each one of those factors is going to determine what is the best place for you to live. Next big topic that I get a ton of questions on, and there seems to be a lot of confusion around: raw land, buying land. Now, the most common question I get asked: how much is an acre of land? That is a huge spectrum. And the reason being is because every area is gonna be different. If you want waterfront property that's near Coeur d'Alene, that already has water, septic, and power, that's gonna be big bucks. You are gonna pay a lot of money for that. But then you can go and get 20 acres in Sandpoint for $100,000. Now, when I say that, don't jump out of your chair and start calling me yet. That $100,000 20 acres is because there's no road access, and you have to negotiate with the owner to get easement, and you're not gonna be able to bring power in very easily. You're probably gonna need to do septic. There's a ton of work, and the usage just isn't there. It's going to be a long shot investment that you might only be able to go up there and hunt on it. You might not even be able to put a structure. So there's a huge range in pricing and when it comes to usage. Now, a question I get asked a lot: Trent, where can I buy property and build a building and an outbuilding and a second home and have a racetrack and all of this stuff? It definitely is going to come down to what the HOA and CCNRs say about that area. If you have no HOA or CCNRs, do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want on that property, but there's not a lot of places like that anymore. You have to go up to Bonners or Boundary County to find those kind of properties. Down here in Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Rathdrum, a lot of that has already been bought up. So you are essentially gonna be finding a lot of 5, 10, maybe 20 acre parcels, but the HOAs and the CCNRs have already been set. And I know a lot of people are like, dang it, that sucks. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Go drive through Spokane, you will see why it's not a bad thing. You'll be driving, it'll be pristine and perfect in farmland, and all of a sudden there's what looks like a dump site. I mean, there's just all these used cars. It's like a used car or car parts lot. I can't even say it. It's a spot for used cars and parts, and yeah, guys running a business out there, and it looks absolutely horrendous. And so if you don't have any HOAs, CCNRs, nothing to stop that from happening. People can do whatever they want. So when it comes to buying raw land, the best thing you can do if you are serious about buying raw land, call us, let us know what you are interested in, what you're trying to achieve. We can start the search and try to filter out anything that does not fall in line with that. The other question is, Trent, what if I wanted to buy 100 acres and subdivide that with my family? I'm telling you right now, it's just not gonna happen. Anything that large in a desirable area is being bought up by developers right now. So at best, we can try to do maybe 20 acres, but again, there's so many people coming after that. I feel like it's a giant land grab right now. So just make sure if you are serious about wanting to buy land, doing all the development yourself, it's going to probably cost more than you're expecting, but just give us a call and we can help you navigate that. Next big point of confusion, the market. What is the market doing? What's the real estate market doing? Are we in a bubble? Are the prices gonna be going up? Are they gonna be going down? Is this a good time to buy? Guys, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you there are certain key indicators that are making me feel like it's going to lean one way. Are we in an economic bubble? Yeah, I would say so. There's a lot of indicators that our nation is in an economic bubble, but is North Idaho or Idaho in general in a bubble? Well, we have to divide it. There are some reports like Zillow came out and said, hey, Boise, Idaho, #1 overinflated pricing in the Boise area. But nothing in North Idaho was on that list. And the reason is because people aren't coming here expecting to turn a profit on their house, or they're coming here thinking there's a ton of opportunity. They're coming here because we're so polarized as a country right now, and our politics are absolutely insane. And so people are moving here, they're seeking refuge, they're selling their properties, they're coming up here, and that's driving the price up. It's just become highly desirable to live in North Idaho, and especially with remote work now becoming a thing, it's making it so much easier for people with really good paying jobs to come work up here. And we have a lot of fiber internet, and then satellite internet's becoming a huge thing now too. So that is driving the prices up. I cannot guarantee that if the bubble pops that the North Idaho economy is not going to go down, that the housing prices isn't going to go down. But I always tell my clients that call wondering this, I always ask them, well, do you plan to buy this and then sell it within 5 years? And then most people say no. I go, then why would you worry about the market going down? Like, if you're trying to time it and get a good deal, then you just need to watch and wait. But if you're moving here because you want to live here and you like what North Idaho stands for and you like the lifestyle, then it really shouldn't be too much of a concern if it goes back down, because it's going to go back up. If I know anything about real estate, is that the prices do not stay down, and rarely ever is there a discount on housing. It usually goes up. Even people that got hurt in 2008, if they held on, they made out very, very nicely. So as far as the market, are we in a bubble? Is it a bad time to buy? I don't know, but I think that it's never a bad time to buy in North Idaho, because this place is gorgeous and it's highly desirable, and there's a lot of people wanting to move here. Next question that I get asked a lot, what is the medical like in North Idaho? Well, I can tell you with Kootenai Health, it's extremely good. Our hospital up here is really, really highly ranked. They do an excellent job, and they can do a lot of procedures. Now, if you need cancer treatment, if you need a heart transplant, go over 30 minutes into Spokane. There are a ton of medical facilities over there. So I've never heard a complaint of somebody being here and said, oh, I couldn't get medical treatment. There's a lot of facilities, there's a lot of specialists here, a lot of doctors that started in California or Seattle or Portland have now moved over here. They're excellent at what they do. They have beautiful facilities. So I don't think there's any complaints when it comes to the medical side of living in North Idaho. Now, last big point of confusion, how do I decide where I want to live? This is a very, very good question. With Idaho being so very different in all parts, in all towns, it really can be a challenge to decide where am I gonna live? Is it gonna be Boise? Is it gonna be Twin Falls? Is it gonna be Idaho Falls? Do I wanna live in Lewiston? Do I wanna live in North Idaho, Post Falls? The best thing I can tell you is give us a call. We have a series of questions that we go through with you that really help us figure out what's the lifestyle you're looking for, your budget, what are you hoping to achieve. Once we get those questions answered, we can generally point you in a very, very good direction. In fact, sometimes we'll even write down notes banking on, like, if somebody goes, well, I want to check out these 3 areas, we'll write down, like, I bet they're going to go for Coeur d'Alene. And typically we're right, because the areas are so very different. And if you answer certain questions a certain way, we can almost guarantee that, yeah, you're gonna hate Coeur d'Alene, or you're gonna love Coeur d'Alene, or you're gonna hate Boise, or you're gonna love Post Falls. Whatever it is, you just need to give us a call and we can help you walk through that process. Guys, even if I know right now it's kind of the off season, but even if you're looking in spring or summer, still give us a call. We can still start the conversation, make the connection, and if you want, you can get connected to the MLS and see real-time updated information on what the real estate market's doing. So guys, that is it. Why moving to Idaho can be so confusing. I really hope this information is helpful to you guys, and if it is, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section telling me what was helpful or what wasn't, or what you wish you would have seen on the list. I read those comments and I really try to adapt my videos to those because I really appreciate your guys' support and watching the channel. And like I said before, if you are serious about moving to Idaho, shoot me a call, text, email, day, nights, weekends. It does not matter. I love helping people get moved to Idaho. And until the next video, guys, I'll see you later. By the way, happy Thanksgiving, because I'm pretty sure I'm posting this right before it. See ya.